Today is Tuesday and we have had a change of plans. So yesterday when we were cooking dinner, the ranger came by and said that the Indiana governor closed all of the state parks. We had to be out by today at 2. So right now I am getting together my classroom stuff so that Joel can hook the truck up to the trailer. We will let you guys know what our next step is. We are all packed up and my car is dead. I don't know why. It has not had anything on, no lights, no nothing. We drove it yesterday. The only thing that I can think of is I had the door open while the baby was in here for 5 minutes or so. Oh man, you guys, I don't know. I'm really frustrated. We don't have jumper cables, so Joel is driving over to the shop where there's some people working here. There's people like mowing the grass and stuff, so he's gonna go see if they have jumper cables. This has been a frustrating couple of days. I'm not even sure what to say. Trying to keep our heads up, figure it out. Hopefully we can get out of here in the next few minutes because it's hot. Oh, and the baby, oh, he was asleep. He's so tired. It's way past his nap time. We don't have the cables yet, but someone is bringing them. The car has been started. This is the second time we've jumped a car in a couple of weeks. Okay, so Joel just got all hooked up to the trailer. We are going to head back home. The baby is sleeping. Joel is gonna dump the trailer, so I have some time to catch up with him before we actually leave the campground. One thing I don't think I got to mention is that this place absolutely filled up over the weekend. So it's kind of a bummer because I feel like the reason that things got closed is because everyone came out this weekend. Literally, this place was full. Everything they had open was full. There is only one other rig here right now, it looks like. And they are loaded up, as you can see. And that's it. Everyone else is gone because they closed all the state parks. And, you know, they closed the group camps like a couple weeks ago because they didn't want people coming and camping together. And I think they were trying to leave it open for people who are full-time in their RVs. And, you know, I mean, I wish that it wasn't that way. I don't want to be too judgmental, but it does kind of ruin it for the people who need it. So now we were going to come back here for a couple weeks after this, and now we can't because everything is closed. So we have to kind of figure out our game plan now. Okay guys, so we just pulled back up to the apartment on the way here. So it was like an hour drive and the baby was asleep, so we just had our phones on and we kind of talked about what we might do. And we haven't really solidified anything, but I think so far our plan is to do all of our laundry. We are going to contact the people that we sublet our apartment through and tell them that we are going to be moving out because Joel got laid off and we need to get out of the apartment, and see what they say about our deposit. Moving out means that we will not have to pay rent for May and June, so that's $1,500 we won't have to spend. And if we get our deposit back, that's another $750 that we'll have. With Joel not working and me only able to work, you know, a little bit, things are a little bit unknown right now. What we're leaning towards doing is going out to our property in California. So that means driving all the way back across the country to where we came from. But I think it's probably our best option right now. We don't know though what it's going to look like getting across the country. So they're starting to put into place coronavirus checkpoints. And Joel said most of what he read about that is east of us and we are going west. So hopefully we won't have to worry about that. The shortest route back goes through Colorado and Utah, and both of those states have really strict guidelines right now for people from out of state. And what that means for us, we don't really know. All right, so we are inside of the apartment. We need to eat, so I made some lunch. Joel brought up some oranges and yogurt and blueberries for the baby. And then we also have just some organic broccoli that you just steam in the microwave, and one of these German cheese pasta things from Aldi, which we love. So I literally just threw those both in the microwave and am stirring them together. Benny is just playing around down here on the ground with an old remote and some tissues that he found. He's not interested in the actual toys that we have out for him. Only these things. Alright guys, so we have been home since yesterday. We had some conversations about what we are going to do. We still aren't 100% sure what we're going to do like long term, and when I say long term, I mean like until the coronavirus clears out, which they're predicting may not be until like September at this point. We are still not sure what we're going to do for that long term, but for the short term, what we need to do is move out of our apartment for a couple of reasons. One is the safety aspect, which we have already talked about, and another reason is that we can't really afford the rent if Joel is not working. So that is something that we've had to consider. One of our options is that we have property out in California. There are many issues with us going out there. One issue is that the trip there is long. Obviously, it's on the other side of the country. And where are you going? With that comes a big road trip that we haven't really planned for. And also, right now, a lot of states have shut down all of their campgrounds. There are other options of places to stay. You can camp or pull your trailer into places like Cabela's or Walmart. Sometimes there's public land that isn't closed, but as of now, things are changing like every day. Every day there's a press conference in every state, and every day more stuff gets closed down. So it's a little bit unknown, and we would need at least a week probably to get everything out of the apartment since we're doing it by ourselves and with the baby. So there's that. If we get out to California, to our property, it would be completely off the grid. We don't have power at a well, there's not water, there's not anything really. And that's kind of what we'd be dealing with on the way out there anyway. So we would need to get a generator, we would need to get a water tank, and we would need to be more prepared for boondocking, which we aren't currently. But it is an option. We don't have that many options here right now in Ohio. So are you just gonna stand without holding on to anything? Be careful. So like I was saying, we don't have a ton of options here in Ohio. We might get approved to rent a place, but we'd have to get a much less nice apartment probably. And we would want something with an outdoor entry so we don't have to share all these common areas. And there are places like that, but I don't know if anyone is going to rent to us right now because Joel's laid off and I'm only making like $1,000 a month. And I only have 1 month to show for that. So it's just it's a pretty hard decision with a lot of unknowns. So it makes it really difficult to decide what to do. Bennett Wilder, do not bite my feet. That is gross. Don't do that. If we do go out to our property, it's a much less convenient way of life. There are far fewer grocery stores. There are no grocery stores other than a Target that do like a pickup or anything. It's a lot more expensive. So we don't really know what to do. And I think a lot of people are probably feeling that way. And while our situation is somewhat unique, pretty much everyone's in a different situation. Some people are working, some people aren't. Some people have savings, some people don't. You know, there's a lot of different scenarios. So it's hard to know what to do. it's not going to be a pleasure trip. That's not what's happening. This is a totally different type of trip, potentially. It's been really hard to think about leaving here again, even though because we just got here, and not being able to have the baby say goodbye to anyone or, you know, visit with people before we leave. Yeah, it's gonna be hard if that's the way that we go. I mean, it's gonna be hard no matter what. This whole thing has been really hard, but I think that's probably the best choice for us. And while some people may not understand that, just try to remember that everyone is in a different situation and we are all doing the best that we can. A couple things that have happened since we came home. I mentioned earlier we had a grocery order to pick up in town, and that was one of the reasons we were coming back. And they called 15 minutes after it was supposed to be picked up. Joel was on his way to go get it, and they said they canceled it and weren't going to be filling any more orders today. And we put that order in 5 days ago. So that was a huge bummer. We had timed out the baby's formula, food for the baby, like all kinds of things. And I totally understand that they're really busy and there's a lot going on. It just seemed like they probably could have called us a little earlier. Again, I'm trying not to judge. I'm trying to be understanding. It just kind of threw a wrench into what we were doing. So I ended up making a new online order at Walmart instead of Kroger because we have had better luck with Walmart, and we'll be able to pick it up in 2 days instead of 5 or 7. And then Joel had to go to Kroger right by our house to get the things that we couldn't get from Walmart. So he had to walk around the store a little bit. Bennett Wilder. Hey. What are you doing back there? Are you busted? Anyway, so he just got back from the store. He's getting another load of things out of the trailer since we're gonna be here for a few days or a week or so. Then we have to figure out where we're gonna park the trailer while we're here. So we're gonna try to use that time to plan our trip as well. And even though it'll be changing often, we will be changing along with it and trying to figure out what is the best move from that point forward. I always like to watch videos of moms with really calm children that just sit and snuggle them. Oh my God. This kid is not a snuggler. He is a tornado with legs. My little Tasmanian devil. Okay guys, check-in time. So we are on our way to Walmart to pick up some groceries. They made a couple of substitutions that we didn't want. We ordered dark roast coffee and they substituted something called like Death Wish coffee or something. So we're not gonna get that one. And then blackberries for blueberries, and the baby can't eat blackberries because of the seeds. So he's trying to figure that out, but I'm happy that we are able to have this option. One thing that's really frustrating is that we hate using the plastic bags, and I can just see everything is like double bagged. There's like 1 or 2 things in a bag, and then it's double bagged on top of that. It's just like painful to watch, but anyway, you gotta take what you can get at this point. It's pretty crazy here. Pretty much everyone has something covering their face, or I would say like maybe 80% of the people have face coverings of some sort, but the workers are just like chilling, like nothing weird is even happening. That's pretty crazy to me. It seems like they would be hyper vigilant since they're being exposed to so many people. I don't know. They have all of the entrances and exits like barricaded so that you have to go in one way and out another. And it's just like crazy to watch all of this stuff. I can't believe that this is what's happening. It's just so crazy to me. We just filled up the gas tank and we are headed to our appointment. Joel, how much did you get gas for?
I got gas for 87 cents a gallon.
87 cents a gallon. He filled up the truck for $17.
It's pretty nice considering I have paid close to $5 a gallon before. I have definitely put $100 bill down for just a tank of gas before. 87 cents. Oh boy.
My mom, who really does not want us to leave, found this house that, well, she didn't really find it. She's been looking at this house for a couple years, wanting to buy it. And it is up north about an hour and a half from where we live currently. And it's basically just a vacation home. And it's been on the market for 2 years. The seller actually took it off for the winter, so it hasn't been on the market for a little while, but we are going to look at this house. They are willing to rent it on a monthly basis and go lower on the rent for us. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us to at least go check it out. It is a really small house. It's just a little cottage on the lake, but we were going to be staying in a travel trailer and it's bigger than that. So we are going up north to look at it and see if that's a viable option for us so we don't have to drive across the country for a temporary fix. So yeah, that's the plan. That's what we are doing.